Mackenzie Johnston with Livestock Digital Daily, bringing you your October 28th cattle industry headlines. Brought to you by AgRisk Advisors. They help you manage your risk so you can manage your operation. With over 20 years of experience, AgRisk Advisors provide honest and transparent advice. They offer insurance solutions that help you minimize risk and maximize profitability. They might not be able to make it rain, but they can sure ease the pain. If you want to learn more about pasture, rangeland, forage insurance, go ahead and reach out to AgRisk Advisors. They can help you understand what PRF insurance is all about and everything it can do for your operation. Earlier this week, Shaylee Stewart with DTN Progressive Farmer wrote an exceptional article focusing on the uncertainty of our economy and what increasing interest rates mean for cattle producers. Fundamentally, according to Stewart, the market is ripe to rally. Our nation's cow herd has been liquidated like never before, and beef demand, both domestically and internationally, remains strong. But that doesn't mean the road ahead for cattle producers is all rainbows and butterflies. As producers, we've become accustomed to cheap money. Higher interest rates are a devil that we don't know how to dance with, said Stewart. Some of us are old enough to remember the 1980s when sky-high interest rates took a lot of producers out of the game. But for those of us who were not around, Stewart compiled a couple different perspectives from cattlemen that endured those difficult years. First off, Jim Taylor, the retired president of Yellowstone Bank in Laurel, Montana, who served in the lending field for over 40 years. According to Taylor, producers today have to manage their debt level, and they've got to realize interest rates are just another operating expense. When interest rates increase, they aren't the only thing increasing. Everything else gets more expensive too. Fertilizer, fuel, insurance, everything across the board becomes more expensive. To survive high interest rates, producers have to follow a basic Econ 101 principle: make more money than you spend. Easy as that. Agriculturalists are often overly optimistic and have a tendency of overestimating income and underestimating expenses, said Taylor. Stewart asked Taylor how cattlemen today can learn from the hardships endured during the 1980s, and he responded saying that there were three main reasons we lost so many good people back in the 1980s. They couldn't adjust their operating costs, they couldn't live within their means, and they couldn't service the debt they acquired. The next perspective comes from Stewart's grandparents, Everett and Karen Hoynes. They made it through the 80s on a shoestring budget as they had land notes to pay and four little children to feed. When asked about the 1980s, Everett said it was a damn nightmare, and people today just don't realize how hard it was. Everett and Karen had both sheep and cows, which was a blessing because they weren't able to get an operating loan because the bank was also in trouble. But with the diversification of the sheep, they were able to sell wool and market lambs multiple times throughout the year, which helped cash flow. Stewart's grandma, Karen, worked hard to cheapen up living expenses. She raised a huge garden, she canned everything, and sewed a lot of the kids' clothes. She was involved with almost everything on the ranch, from haying to working cattle to lambing. She was in the middle of everything, helping to get all the jobs done. In closing, Stewart said there is no doubt that higher interest rates will make for a stressed bottom line, but with due diligence, a sharp pencil, and the willingness to put up a fight, we can make it through these hard times just like the folks did back in the 80s. This update is also sponsored by Circle 5 Cow School. If you want to learn how to preg check your own cows or start AIing, Circle 5 Cow School is definitely the way to go. They're going to be hosting a school down in Dresden, Kansas on November 4th and 5th. If you're in that area, I encourage you to check them out. And if you just want to check out their schedule, head on over to their website, circle5cowschool.com. That's the number 5 in there. Or you can go ahead and just give them a follow on Facebook. Drovers has reported cash cattle prices hit their highest point in 7 years last week. Cash cattle hit 150.53 per hundredweight, about $3 higher than the week before, and average closeouts were $158 per head, according to the Sterling Beef Profit Tracker. Last week, packer margins averaged $16 per head, which was actually up from the week before when packers were losing on average $15 per head. Last year, at this time, packers were making an average of $659 per head. Natural News has reported primary schools in the Netherlands have begun serving insects to students in a push to gradually introduce the Great Reset's goal of normalizing the consumption of bugs. Kids are being served mealworms, lupine worms, and other bugs. I would like to say that this news comes as a surprise, but it actually doesn't, because if you can remember in recent weeks, the Netherlands was one of the countries that we have seen come forward with proposals that basically want to do away with their ag industry. They feel their ag industry is ruining the world. So they don't need the ag industry to feed them anymore. They feel, bugs will do it. It'll be fine. Not a problem. Besides bugs being completely unappetizing, the consumption of insects could lead to the transmission of parasites for those that consume the bugs. A recent study showed in a vast majority of cases, crickets from insect farms were full of parasites. Imagine that. But unfortunately, safety is no priority for globalists working to push their agenda of doing away with agriculture and forcing children to eat bugs. What will it be next? Our final sponsor for this update is the United States Cattlemen's Association. The deadline to reserve your room for the USCA annual meeting and Cattle Producers Forum is just 2 weeks away. Join cattle producers from across the country for critical industry discussions in Nashville, Tennessee this upcoming December 8th through the 10th. This is a meeting you're not going to want to miss. For more information and to get registered, head on over to www.uscattlemen.org. Finally, Meeting Place has reported there is even more reason to eat beef this Thanksgiving. A survey of advertised prices for turkey at major retail supermarkets conducted by the USDA found the average per pound price for frozen hens has climbed 27% year over year to $1.99 for the week ending October 21st. So this comes from last week. Frozen tom turkey prices soared 71% year over year to $1.69 per pound. The increase in turkey prices is mostly due to the recent avian influenza outbreak, which has affected 47.7 million birds just this year so far, according to USDA data. So it looks like we should all plan on some beef for Thanksgiving this year. That is all I have for you guys today. That's all I have for you this week. I hope everyone has had a great week. You guys have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you on Monday morning.